This video is for the benefit of Canadian Border Patrol Services who seized a Spyderco folding lockback knife back in July, having categorized it as a butterfly knife and or a gravity knife. So I wanted to just do a quick video to illustrate or demonstrate the differences between these three knife designs, which are quite dramatic in terms of design and how they operate. So this is the knife in question. This is the same knife that was seized. The Spyderco Para 3 Crewwear, model C223 GP-GYCW. We don't open our knives on blazingblades.com generally because people buying them expect them to be in pristine condition, new, unboxed, unhandled. But we'll make an exception here for the purposes of just demonstrating how this knife design is intended to function. So it's intended to be open with a thumb. You can hear that click, that's the lock. There's like a locking indent that holds the blade in place, unlike what you'll find on a gravity knife or a butterfly knife. Open it up, here's your lockback design. Blade can't close. You can see that moves quite freely. It's not bound in any way. This is tightened to the appropriate spec, I would imagine. These are handmade. Once it closes, you'll hear that little indent. And then you'll see, if you hold it and try to flick it in any direction, even if you put a little swing on your wrist, not holding the blade, I cannot get this knife to open. Now, it's not inconceivable, being that these are handmade, that depending on what specification that little, it looks like a hex is torqued to, one blade might be a bit loose. I guess it's certainly possible, although unlikely. These are handmade. Like I said, there's only a few hundred of them in circulation, and they take their time building these. But separate from, the blade design and the mechanism, again, won't open. It's just a folding knife, and you can see by its design. It has a lock, it has an indent, has to be opened with a thumb. It's actually a fair amount of resistance on this one. Can't be flicked. I mean, if you sat here all day and flicking it, is it conceivable it'll open one time? I guess anything's possible. But if I was buying this as a gravity knife, I'm going to be in trouble if I need to open up the blade. So that's the Spyderco in question. Now we'll move on to the Benchmade butterfly knife, and you'll see why it's called a butterfly knife. So this is a traditional butterfly knife. It has a lock in the back of the handle. And it's called a butterfly knife because it has two wings that kind of look like a butterfly. And this is gravity. It's frictionless. Once it's unlocked, that moves freely. One side sharp and the other side isn't. Definitely don't want to use the sharp side against your hand. But see, it just kind of moves about easily. No friction. And that's, they're designed to operate that way. Again, this is a butterfly knife. Any other butterfly knife that you see by any manufacturer will have these exact same characteristics. And then last we have a Asheville Steel Paragon. It's called a Phoenix, which is a gravity-fed knife. And that's because the blade operates strictly with gravity. As I noted in the letter that I'd written to the Canadian Border Patrol, this is a frictionless design. It has two discs that when you press them, the blade just kind of floats around, and it's meant to be open and closed. Try that again with the flick of a wrist. See, the blade just freely floats around once you press the disc, and it's meant to be operated by flicking your wrist. Gravity knife, typical gravity knife. We go back to the Paramilitary 3 Crewwear, and you can plainly see that it's a completely different design from a gravity knife in the way it operates, the way it locks. Certainly nothing whatsoever like a butterfly knife, which again looks like a butterfly. It has two handles that float freely, a 2-pivot blade as I'll just demonstrate again. There are actually 2 pivots on this blade that allow it to float freely. This knife has 1 pivot in the center, 1 hole. But through the discs, the compression of the disc allows the blade to move about freely. Back to your classic folding lockback knife, which is nothing whatsoever like a butterfly knife or gravity knife, by design or by function. And there we have it. So again, I certainly respect Border Patrol's decision to not allow this into Canada for whatever reason they deem. But in fairness, this is central to the knife's design. It's not a butterfly knife, not a gravity knife. Can't operate like one, doesn't look like one. And it's just, from my perspective, a clear miscategorization. Understandable how an error like that could occur, but respectfully, to seize a knife like this would be without merit and baseless. And I have a customer who's a good customer up in Canada who can't get a refund because his knife was erroneously seized, which, again, return the knife to the United States, to the sender, blazeandblades.com, or allow me the opportunity to pay for postage and have it returned so that this Canadian citizen can get a proper refund as they're entitled to. I've since blocked all sales to Canada because I just can't have this type of problem. It's a bad experience for customers. It's time consuming and costly for us to have to kind of deal with this. So for the sake of simplicity, we just decided to not sell knives to Canada anymore. So with that, I respectfully ask that this knife be released back to blazeandblades.com. And then once in my possession or our possession, we will happily issue a refund to this customer who's been greatly inconvenienced and has been very patient. So I appreciate your time and consideration. Thank you for watching this video, and you have a good day.